Hi guys. Today we're going to do a last little extra review of order of operations, and you have a formative to take today. So let's get through this, and then you guys can answer your formative once you're done. You may use your notes to help you with the formative. Alright, so we need to open it up in Canvas, and we need to hit our little box with the arrow. Mine is down in the bottom left. Yours should be in the upper right. Go all the way over to copy to Notability. Create new note. I changed it and I put a topic because I made folders for me to make it more organized. And I'm putting in foundations, and I'm going to import. And here it is. Alright, so again, our order of operations. We're going to write them out here. So it's our please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We have parentheses. Our exponents. Our division slash multiply, and as you can tell it's the other way around. Usually it's multiply then divide, but it's whichever one's first in the problem. And subtraction slash addition. So I'm hoping this is starting to get drilled into your guys' brains so you kind of remember this. Alright, so let's look at problem 1, which is right here. So we always have to write our letters up here so we always remember which orders to go in which way. We go left to right reading. So we need to look at this. We can look and see that we have parentheses, which is right there. We have to solve inside of the parentheses. So our first step would be parentheses. And we have to add those together. So when we add 3 plus 5, that gives us 8. We keep the parentheses and rewrite everything else. And as I've told you already this week, whenever you have a number next to a parenthesis, such as this is right here, if there's no sign between them but they're next to each other like that, it always means they're multiplying. Always. Please remember that. Always means they're multiplying. So our next step is multiply. It is not subtraction. We have to multiply first. So 2 times 8 leaves us with 16, and we drop everything else down. 4 minus 16, because the 16 is a higher number, we're going to be left with a negative number because we can look here and see that this is a negative 16. We're going to be left with another negative, so we're going to subtract. We are going to subtract, and we're subtracting 4 from 16, which gives us negative 12 as our final answer. Okay, so that's how you solve that first one. Now, we're going to do 2 4 and 5. And we'll stop at that for now. So we look at 2. We write our order of operations again. And we look and see, do we have a parentheses? We can say, yes, we do, right there. I'm going to rewrite this here for now. And we're going to write over here, parentheses. And we can solve this here. 8 minus 2, you have 8. You take 2 away, you're left with 6. And then you're going to have divided by 3. We can look and see we do not have any exponents, so we skip that step. Do we have a multiply and or divide? And we can say, yes, we do. Right here, we see our multiply and or divide. And right here, we are dividing. So when we take 6 divided by 3, 3 goes into 6 2 times. So we rewrite everything there, and then we just write divide right there. Next, as I've said to you guys, we read this as left to right first. So because there's a subtraction here first, that is our first step that we have to do. Okay, that's number 1 is subtraction. Oop. So subtract would be first. 1 minus 2 leaves us with negative 1 because we have minus 2 fingers. We grow 1 back. We're missing 1 finger still. plus 2. And essentially you could also look at this as 2 minus 1. Looks the same way as this does. So if you have 2 fingers, you lose 1. You're left with 1. And we will call this addition because we are looking at this sign there. Okay? Just because I switched to 2 minus 1, it's still addition because looking at the original problem here, we're adding. Now, I wanted to go over this one to make sure we understand how this works. So again, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So we look parentheses. Yep, we have parentheses right there. Okay. So even though it's subtracting there or adding or anything else, because it's inside parentheses, we have to do that first. So 9 minus 5, this will drop us down and left with 4. So we write the parentheses, squared plus 15 divided by 3. Now, we're done with the parentheses. We look to see, do we have an exponent? Yes, we do, right there. Exponent just means it's whatever number that is above times that number again. So being the 2, it's 4 times 4. Okay, if I had number 5 up on the top instead of where the 2 is, it'd be 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. So this is simple. 4 times 4 leaves us with 16 plus 15 divided by 3. So as I said, exponent. Now, we have a multiplier divide. Yes, we do, because of this right here. We got to simplify that to make it small. So because it's dividing. So we have to look at this as how many times does 3 go into 15? Hopefully you know your 5s and know that if you have 3 sets of 5, that's 15. So we know our answer would be 5 plus 16. So our reason would be division because of the 15 over 3. And the last step would be addition. And we're adding 5 plus 16, which leaves us with 21 as our final answer. Okay, I know it's a lot, but hopefully you guys are understanding this because this is going to come up all this year and all next year. All right, last one we're going to do here. We're going to write our letters here. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Now, we look here, parentheses. Yes, we do, because we see it right there. 4 minus 1, you have 4 fingers. You took one off and playing with the lawnmower. You are left with 3 fingers with a square, and then minus 2 in the front, plus 5. So again, parentheses is the reason what we start with. We can cross the P off. Now if we look next, do we have an exponent? Yes, we do, which is right there. So we're going to be left with minus 2 parentheses. 3 times 3, because it's being squared, gives us 9 plus 5. So this is our exponent. And the reason I left this in the parentheses is for this reason right here, this part right there. This next step would be our multiply because the negative 2 is next to that. So essentially what this means, it's going to take us multiplying next, and it's taking negative 2 times 9. So 9 times 2 gives us 18, and a positive times a negative will always give us a negative, so we're left with negative 18 plus 5. And our last step, because of this, is addition. So we just write addition. And because we see that our negative number is larger than our positive number, we know our final answer is going to be a negative. If I took 5 away from 18, that's going to leave us with negative 13 as our final answer. Now, we're going to come over here, and I want us to do number 9 here. I know it's not something we've practiced, but it's something I want us to kind of think about. So if we look at this, we have 3 triangles, and they're all adding together. So whatever number I want to give triangle has to equal 30. Well, to find this out, I can make this a little simpler on myself. I can take 30 divided by the number of pieces I see because these are all the same. Okay? So that's 3 pieces I'm dividing by 30. If I'm dividing 30 by 3, I'm left with 10. So that means each one of these triangles is equal to 10. Okay? Which now, knowing that that's 10, I can look at 10 plus a star is equal to 20. Well, if I minused a triangle on each side, which would be minus 10, this will leave me with 10. Well, now looking at 10, I have 2 stars that have to equal 10. So I would do the same thing. 10 divided by 2, which would leave me with 5 as the answer. So each star would represent as 5. So if I added a triangle of 10 plus 5, which gives me 15, plus another 5 will give me 20 as my answer. So now we look here. We know the star is equal to 5, and we have a circle, circle plus circle, circle is equal to 9. Okay? So, again, we do the minus a star, so minus 5 on each side. And this is going to leave us with the answer of 4. Well, how many circles do you see? There are 4 total circles. If there's 4 points, that means each circle is only worth 1 number. So 5 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is equal to 9. So now this is where we get a little fun here. We rewrite our numbers here. And now we have our order of operations, which, if we look carefully at this, we have 5 plus 1 times 10. We should know our order of operations. There's no parentheses. There's no exponent. There is a multiplication, which is right here. 1 times 10. Any number times 1 will always leave you with that same number, so we're left with 10 plus 5, which our final answer would be 15 for this problem right here. I know it's a lot, but it's just something to kind of think about. Now, let's see what other ones I want us to do. I want you guys to do 18 on your own when we're done, because I just want to see what your answers would be. Just kind of interested. And lastly, let me just double check your formative real quick to see if they ask any of these, because I want to make sure you're prepared for it. Let's do a couple of these simplified ones right here in number 12. And then we'll be done for the day and you guys can do your formative. Okay? So, on this one, we look at this as positive 3 minus 8. Because we know that this is a minus 8, so meaning it's a negative 8, if I had a number line, and I had, if that was my 0 and this was my negative 8, and I have 3, knowing that it's a positive 3, I have to move that to the right. So positives are always to the right and negatives are always to the left. I move it 3 spots, and that'll leave me with a negative 5 as my answer. Now, in here, this next one, it is negative 2 parentheses negative 5. So that means, because there's no symbol between, we're multiplying. 2 negatives times each other, a negative times a negative, or a negative divided by a negative, always gives us a positive. Always. Negative times negative, negative divided by negative gives you positive. So 2 times 5 leaves you with 10. Now, something I talked about before, when you see a 9 minus parentheses negative 2, we can just make these negatives there like that and make them positive. So now 9 plus 2, because they cancel the negatives, 9 plus 2 leaves us with 11. Now, I want you guys to do, we'll do this one together. So 14 divided by 7. It's asking how many times does 7 go into the number 14, which hopefully you guys know some of your multiplication tables, but that would be 2 times. 7 plus 7 gives you 14, so that's 2 times, goes into there. Negative 4 minus 5. I'm going to rewrite this one right here for you guys in another way to see it. What this essentially means is negative 4 plus negative 5. So when you do this, this is essentially adding, if I had minus 4, so if I was at the 4 mark here, negative 4, and I added negative 5, because it's a negative number I'm adding, I'm going to move to the left, I'd be sitting at negative 9 as my overall answer. That is where I'm going to stop for there. So you only had to do that because I want to review those. I want you guys to answer 18 on your own. And then you guys need to make sure you do the formative. The formative will go in the grade book is 14 total questions. Okay, you need to be able to show your work, figuring out how you're doing it. So don't just write an answer. Give me a little work showing where I'd see that. So like if it's something such as number 2 here, I see that you know putting an arrow means you're multiplying. Or if you're highlighting, like I did here, you see to help you realize. Show me something to work so I know that you're actually doing this work for me, please. Okay? Otherwise, have a great rest of your day. Looking at the calendar right now, I will have a Zoom on Monday, because we're going to start a new thing. Zoom on Monday, and then it'll probably be Monday, Wednesday, Thursday next, or Monday, Tuesday, Thursday next week, because Wednesday will be a short day. Okay, so please make sure you come to class on Monday, and I will see you guys then. Have a great day.